Hi my loves. I just wanted to do another video. The veils have been really thin with the solar eclipse and the full moon and the energy with Saturn and Pluto. And so I've been getting a lot of downloads, and so I wanted to share another one that I got recently. So what we're gonna do today is this video is going to be about feeling abandoned by God and how to heal that. And I found some in my personal journey when I felt like that God had abandoned me. It probably was the most painful aspect of my healing journey to date. And it's so easy. It's been my experience. It's so easy to feel abandoned when you have personally been abandoned. And those who know my story know that that my birth mom left me, and so like it kind of set me up to feel lots of different ways feel abandoned. And I definitely feel like this life for me was to feel abandoned from in many different ways, and to overcome feeling abandoned. And in my journey, because I felt abandoned by my birth mom, it was easy for me to abandon people. And I have had lots of experiences since then that I feel like that I recreated to try and heal that original wound with abandonment with my birth mom. But in some part of the journey too, like there was times where I felt like that no matter how much I prayed, how much I meditated, I just felt that God wasn't listening, and God had left me. God had abandoned me. And I use God kind of loosely. Like I know there's lots of terms like source energy, universal universal energy. I find that's all interchangeable, but I'm going to use God in this video just to kind of simplify it, because I don't want to have to say all of those things. But it's like the universal source of energy, you know. I grew up Christian, and so God kind of comes like naturally because that's the way I grew up. But I see in all ways. And when I thought God had abandoned me, it led me down this dark journey. And it helped me realize that it's impossible to be abandoned by God, because God is all things, and no matter what we do or what we say or who we are an aspect of God, and we're an aspect of the universe, and that means that we are loved. But in the moment, it's really hard. One of the ways that I worked through it was kind of counterintuitively, but it was actually Hades archetype that kind of helped me through. I had a vision, and I think I've talked about it in one of the videos, but I'll just go over it briefly. But I had, like, in the depths of feeling abandoned by God, I had a vision, and I felt like it was like a vision directly from source energy, from God. And in that vision, I saw how, because I felt abandoned by God, I was afraid of him, and I would always run away from him. And God loved me so much that he did not chase me. He let me run because he knew that was part of the journey. But because of his deep care for me, he didn't want me to run alone. And so he sent Hades, who's his brother, or like a brotherly energy, to kind of follow me. And because of my experience with the darkness, that's, you know, that's all I knew for a long time. because of my experience with the denser energies, I felt comfortable with Hades. I wasn't afraid of him. I was familiar with his energy, and so it didn't seem that scary. And so it was Hades that followed me, and I ran and ran and ran in this vision. I ran and ran and ran until I was exhausted. And it was actually Hades that wrapped me up in his velvet cloak and brought me back to God. And so I feel that and it helped me realize that what we call as Hades or Lucifer archetype is actually just the other side of God. It's like the same coin, but the opposite side. And it's just a different aspect of God. And the more that we are able to learn to love and appreciate and honor the denser energies, and the more that we're going to be able to love and appreciate the more exalted energies. So I want to take a little bit of time, and I want to channel a message for those who feel abandoned by God, and hopefully we can get some healing. And I'm going to be channeling Hades. I call him Hades, but it's Lucifer, Pluto energy. And it seems kind of perfect too, because with Pluto conjunct with Uranus today, like it kind of seems like an appropriate time. I'm just checking to see if there's anything I missed. So we'll just go ahead and start. It's going to take me just a second to kind of drop in, and we'll just kind of get into it. So hold on one second. So I feel a great affinity for Hades just because of the work we've done together. And just to kind of explain, like when his energy comes in, it feels like this sensual, warm blanket of passion and I want to say sexuality, but not totally that, but just like this really delicious, like cocoon of I don't know, deliciousness. And it's a heavier energy, but there's something for me just very satisfying about being in that energy, and alluring and provocative and delightful. There's a delightfulness in it. So when that energy comes in, I feel comfortable. And so what he's saying is brothers and sisters, those that are comfortable in the light and those that aren't, I'm always here to support you. I'll never hurt you. I'll never betray you. I will never abandon you. And I will always be here to hold your hand when life seems like it's falling apart, when you're sitting in the mud and nobody will sit down with you. Hades, will be the one that sits with you in the mud. And I'll never try to fix you. I will never try to change you. I feel comfortable being in the denser energies, and I can just be with you and listen to your story. And I'll listen to your story 1,000 times if that's what you need, so that you feel heard and so that you feel seen and you feel honored in your pain and in your suffering. And in those moments of despair, I'm always with you, brothers and sisters. I'm there, I'm rubbing your back, I'm holding your hand, I'm whispering to you that everything's going to be okay and that you are loved and supported even in this. And he's saying that in this time when hopelessness and despair seems apocalyptic, that his ability to comfort and protect and honor our experiences has been magnetized. And he wants to talk about, I don't know how many people read the Bible, but he wants to talk about his story in the Bible about how he fell, how he wanted to take God's power. And so he was banished from heaven. And he also has a sense of humor, so I'm going to tell you how he says it. But he says, that's fake news. That never happened. That was like the only way that humanity could understand, like, why I'm not in heaven. And he says, I choose not to be in heaven. I choose to be with my people. I choose to be of service to humanity, because that's been my job all along. And part of my a desire to connect with humanity is to be with the basier energies, to be in the despair, to be in the depravity, to be in the obscene, to be in the insanity. And the only way that he would be able to comfort us and to really honor our experiences is if he could understand what it was like. If he could like be in the depths of depravity, he would know, and he would be able to empathize, and he would be able to relate, and he would be of service to us. And it is his honor and joy to be able to go to the places where maybe like he's saying like the God energy or the universal source can't always go. And there always has to be a different aspect of God that can meet us where we're needing to be met. And without asking us humans to change, without asking us, or without trying to fix humans, he just wants to meet us where we're at. He's talking about his wife Persephone. I don't know what she is in Roman mythology, but he's talking about how she's taught him to also like learn to be more carefree and like not be so serious. And sometimes he's like, when we're in the depths of suffering, we forget that we are children of joy and light and love, and that sometimes like when we're caught up in the suffering, sometimes it's helpful to just like appreciate a flower, or to appreciate some of the lighter things, or laugh, or go skip, or do something to kind of get yourself out of it. Like, he's afraid that humanity's getting too serious in their suffering. And he's like relating to how before he met Persephone that he also got too serious about his suffering. So if you are in the depths of despair or hopelessness, he's saying that sometimes it's like good just to take a break and force yourself to do something fun. If that resonates with you, you know, take him up on it. The most important thing that he wants us to take away from this channeling today is that you're never alone, that your spirit guides are always with you, and it's the spirit guides that make you feel most comfortable. And if you need Lucifer, Pluto, Hades, whatever archetype name you want to use, he says he answers to all of them. If you ever need him to be there for you, to witness your suffering, to hold your hand through it, to rub your back when you're crying, that you just have to ask for him to come and know that he's already there. He also says that like because of our free will, that we do have to ask for him to come. So just like in your mind, ask for his advice and comfort. And he says that to trust your intuition when you hear him speak back to you and answer your prayers or your questions, and pay attention to your dreams, because he really likes working in our dream space, in the astral realms. He's saying as the world goes through the dark night of the soul, as it's like doing this deep healing, that he's working overtime to really be available to each and every one of us. And it's, if you feel called, he definitely wants to work with you. And you just have to ask him. Just ask him to come support you and to show you the path, to show you the way home. And he's happy to do that. He wants you to know that you are loved, you're supported, and things are shifting. And that things aren't always going to be like this, that we're just in a process of healing. Like, collectively we're healing. And so honor that, honor the suffering, honoring the denser energies as they come up, and let them go. You don't have to hold on to them. It's not something that's going to be your experience forever. It's just going to be for this moment. And know that you're shifting through them. And the more that you can go into the emotions, the quicker you're going to come out of them. So give yourself space to really have that ugly cry, to have, like, to be in the abandonment, to be in the fear, to be in the hopelessness, to be in the nihilistic phase. And the more you can go into it, the quicker you're going to come out. So honor that, feel into that, and know that you're very loved.